Father, we thank you for today, Lord Jesus. We thank you for letting us come together today, and we ask you to give us the knowledge and the courage and the strength, Lord, to make decisions for this county. It's right for this county and the people of it. And Father God, we ask you to be with our armed service people, men and women. It's not with their families. And just be with them, Lord, and comfort them and let them know that you're with them. And Father, I pray for our men and women, law enforcement who've been attacked every day, and our EMS and firefighters, and everybody try to save and work for us, Father God. Just be with them. Put your strength upon them and your loving hands. Father, I want to say a special prayer. I know your plate's full, but I got one more thing I want to lay on you, Father. We've had a lot of deaths here lately. And Father, we need to be with these families. They're grieving, they're hurting, but they got to know too. If the heart was right, they got to be with you. That's a good place to be. Lord have mercy, it's got to be a good place. And I pray that one day everybody will reach out and look up to you, Father God, and ask you for a place up there. In your precious, wonderful, holy name, I do pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. All right, our first order of business this morning is public comments, and I don't have any public comment forms turned in, so I would like to speak on behalf of public comments this morning. We will have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. All right, moving on. Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
John, I'd just like to ask y'all to remember our daughter. She leaves today going to Djibouti, South Africa for her 6 months deployment with the Air Force.
It's good to have you back, too, by the way.
Thank you.
Glad to see you today. All right. Public hearing. We're going to swear everybody in. If you're going to speak on either one of the public hearings, either the hardship variance or the preliminary plat, I'd ask you to be sworn in at this time.
Okay, please raise your right hand for those that plan on testifying. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, answer I do. I do. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bill.
Ex parte.
Morning.
Does anybody have any ex parte we need to disclose about either one of these requests? All right. Anybody else? All right. Please proceed.
Y'all will stand and applaud the sheriff who just walked in. Walk back out.
What will we do next? If we stand and applaud now, I mean.
All of these leave. Continue your meeting.
What I have before you this morning is a hardship variance 01-16. As Robert M. Barnhill Jr. petitioned the board for hardship variance to allow a second dwelling for a caregiver on a parcel of land located in Section 3, Township 12, Range 14 in Levy County. Said parcel contains 20 acres more or less and is located in a rural residential zone. The address of the property is 9850 Northwest County Road 345, Chevron, Florida. We do have a complete application on it. We have all the proper forms from the doctors and so forth, verifying there is a hardship variance needed.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Hammond?
Did just take care of the family member.
Yes, sir.
I applaud him for it. I'll make a motion we approve.
Slow down. Over here.
Wide open. Anybody want to kill a family like that?
Does the applicant have anything they would like to say this morning? Does anybody here want to speak for or against? We'll go row by row, starting on row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Back wall. Seeing none?
Back wall.
Sorry.
I also applaud anyone that will help a family member in need. I hope y'all approve it.
In my 4 years, 3.5 years, I don't think we've turned one down yet, so it is a good thing that people want to help out with it. So, anybody else? We will close the public hearing now.
Make a motion, we approve as.
We have a motion by Commissioner Joyner, a second by Commissioner Rooks. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item I have is preliminary plat 01-16. This is a survey representing George W. Eager for a preliminary plat of Williston Cedar Farms. It is a residential subdivision consisting of 6 10-acre more or less lots located in section 29, township 12, range 19 in Levy County. Said parcel contains 77 acres more or less and is located within agricultural rural residential zone. This petition was heard by the planning commission on March 7th of this year. It is being forwarded with a recommendation of approval from the planning department. I think you have your site map there. If you look, you'll see that this property is located just north of Williston, at the corner of Northeast 50th Street and 205th Avenue. It has paved roads on both sides, accessed by paved roads to all the properties, and all the fees and everything been paid on it. We have a complete application, and the staff does recommend approval.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bill? Seeing none? Is the applicant here today would like to speak on their behalf? No?
The applicant's here, but no, that's pretty good.
Okay. All right, we'll now go row by row. Anybody on row 1? Row 2? Row 3? Row 4? Back wall. Yes, ma'am.
When will we have the monitors up so that when you have a plat like that, that we also get to see it? Where's the clerk? Where's the clerk? Where's the clerk?
Somebody's asking where the clerk is.
Mr. Bill, let him look at mine, I'll let him.
I would think you would have the
Right
answer.
there.
I can hold mine up. Hold it up. It is available, it was available on the online agenda. Are there any other questions from the back wall? All right, we'll close the public hearing. It's a pleasure of the board.
Make a motion to approve the preliminary plat as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Stevens, a second by Commissioner Joyner. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bill.
Mr. Piekla.
Morning. All right. Two items. The first is for part of our board member recruitment and retention, I guess. We've got 2 individuals that we're proposing. We've had preliminary discussions with both to kind of gauge interest, but these are county appointed, going back to the Levy County Development Authority days. These are board appointed, or at least approved appointments to our organization, the Business Development Council Board. One is, I believe, familiar, which is Mr. Chris Howard, and the other is Miss Joyce Wilson from the UNC Family Community Center in Williston. So we're just looking for, I guess the authorization to, again, have more formal discussions with these individuals and see if we can get them on board. Literally. long as you're happy with those two names that I mentioned, then we will obviously have our more formal, discussions with these individuals to see if they will in fact serve. But, these are two of those county positions, so we just wanted to at least make sure that you were all copacetic with that.
So you have mentioned it to them, I mean, this isn't.
Yeah, it's not a surprise, but of course, we mentioned that, as the formal procedure, we have to come before you just to make sure you're all willing to sign off on that.
Mr. Grant?
Have these positions been advertised?
Yes.
Where?
The same way that we always do, through the agenda packets and through the meeting notices and so forth that we send out.
In newspapers.
Yes, those are the same way that we notify when we're making a presentation or whatever.
I must have missed them.
That's not advertised.
No, it isn't.
These two?
Yeah, you put them in the agenda packet, but it's not advertised.
Okay,
He
well,
was asking if you advertised.
we haven't, these are county positions, county appointed positions, so we haven't exactly gone to them and had a formal sit down, but these are one of the ones that we're looking to actually have on the board.
It's coming from double speak,
So you're asking for board approval to appoint them today? It says on there, requesting approval.
Not a approval formally, but these are two that we, from members of the community at our meetings, have expressed the desire to have them serve. We made the initial contact with them to see if there was some interest, but it hasn't gone any further than that.
But it'll come back for approval by the board then? Because they do have to take a formal vote to appoint them,
Yes.
in my opinion, and that's what it says here.
We could go by consensus now.
Well, you could vote now, and if they accept, they can be on. Say you approve them.
Yeah, we haven't had the formal sit down with them. It was just a preliminary.
They showed the interest in.
They have, based on from members of the community that have attended the meetings in the past, saying that they thought these two would make good candidates. So we told them that these are county appointed, they would have to go before y'all, as candidates, and then we go through the formal process of appointing them.
Well, I can tell you, knowing that Ms. Sharon Battle served a long time on there, and she has recommended Ms. Wilson to take her place, I will go along with her recommendation for that, because I know Ms. Wilson, and she is a good person. I believe she will do a fantastic job, the same as Mr. Gallagher.
Yeah, and actually, Ms. Joyce has a lot of, obviously for where she is, she has a lot of experience with nonprofits and so forth, so that would, obviously help with us, and she has a wealth of other experience. Ms. Sharon, she's been there since the beginning. She was actually one of the founding members. We certainly miss her, will miss her, but she is, between pursuing her master's and everything else, she's at a new chapter of her life, so she actually this past meeting in March was her last meeting, but I certainly want to take the time to recognize her service and her efforts, and like you said, if she's recommending her as her replacement, then yeah, that speaks volumes.
And I'll also go a little bit further, and I'd make a motion to approve Ms. Gallagher and Ms. Wilson to the Express Business Development Council.
We have a motion by Commissioner Stevens, a second by Commissioner Brooks. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Carries.
All right, the second one is the normal business, which is the progress report. There's just a few items to key on. In terms of trends that we're looking at, there's a couple of large-scale projects that we're engaged with. Confidentiality has been asked for in both situations, but they're continuing to move forward. We're expecting some meetings in the coming weeks, so I can't really go into any further information on that. But I will, as details are ready, I will proceed to inform you all of progress. The trends that we're seeing is there are a lot of expansions, some remodeling of current businesses. There are a few newcomers that are looking at the area. There's some that have already located. We've talked about some of them in the past that have continued to not just relocate and get their operations up and running, but they're increasing their staff. One that we've mentioned before is Paradox Intellectual Properties. They actually were just in the newsletter that was sent out yesterday, I guess. And also, they've been working with certain groups like the Mid-Florida Regional Manufacturers Association, otherwise known as Mr. Ma. They did a very short video, which is kind of an overview of what they do. One of the things that was mentioned, which we helped facilitate, is they're in the process of an on-the-job training to get some welders and some other positions either filled or better trained. So that is a success story that continues to build and build over the past few months. There's several meetings coming up in the near future. One of the ones that I'm having this week actually is to look at the Florida Northern Railroad, which is the short line that goes through Williston, leased from CSX. What we're looking at is industry that would increase the traffic, the usage of that route. The problem is right now, if it weren't for the coal going south to Citrus County, you really wouldn't have any users in the county benefiting from that, and there's really not any traffic. I mean, if you were to pull the numbers, it's next to zero. There is interest locally to better develop the site there in Williston, which is what's called a transloading station, where you can either offload or load, onto the trains. That's a discussion that I'm going to have this week, because obviously it's not an economic driver to wait and see if this thing's going to shut down eventually. You obviously want to see it grow and thrive, and so that's one of the discussions we're having. On the same vein, related at least, is continuing efforts, as you all are aware, this goes back well before I even got here, is broadband. High-speed internet is pretty much, it's what the central sewer and everything of yesterday was. It's right at the top of the list in terms of needs. I mean, you're talking retail all the way up to major manufacturers, medical, pharmaceuticals, things of that nature. It's one of those things that, because it's rural, we had gone through some steps earlier. We don't need to go back over that about efforts that were made to establish the network, but conversations continue as we speak. I'm actually in the process of having a dialogue right now with a group that may be able to help, because this is their strong suit, is rural communities establishing networks. So I'll keep you appraised of how that goes. But this is one of those things, as I know someone in the audience here, Mr. Lippman from Williston, for instance, know that it's a very, very uphill challenge, but it's one that we remain fully committed to seeing through. Other than that, we are now a 501. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any interest whatsoever in anyone coming in to pick up where Altitude dropped their cable service? Because there's no cable service now at all.
That's one of those challenges. I for sake of time, I didn't want to get too involved, but that's one of those things. There's been a lot of attention in the media and whatever of, the profitability, obviously, of finding a last mile provider, whatever, that wants to come in and either finish connections or come back and basically pick up where that company left off, taking over that service or whatever, is very difficult right now for the existing telecoms that are in the area and the providers. It's very difficult to get them to join up, and it's even harder to find somebody else to come in and just basically take that grid and expand it. That's the difficulty we're running into.
Has anyone contacted Cox or someone large like that that's in a surrounding county that perhaps could have enough money to be able to do that?
Those are where the challenges are. There's been discussions, but generally the way it's been worked is the company, the provider, wants to put the lion's share of the responsibility on the customers. In terms of, if you want it, we can do this, but it's going to cost you X thousands of dollars more than you're really comfortable paying, whether it's a company or obviously a residential, wanting the service or whatever. That's one of the challenges, is having it where obviously a business needs to make money, but having a company that wants that service, they're not going to be able to spend $90,000 to run 200 more feet of cable from wherever the fiber ends up the road. So that we're trying to find that middle ground where the pieces fit perfectly, and it's a challenge.
How about other businesses in the area that would profit by the fact that these people were getting better service and everything, that perhaps there could be a conglomerate of businesses helping this one particular business that you might be able to get interested and say, hey, we'll pitch a few pennies into this pot and make it work?
That is one of the options we're looking at right now, and that's actually the option that's kind of rising to the top of the heap, a P3 or a public-private partnership, where we know that not one entity is going to be able to do it on its own. P3 has been around for quite some time, but we're starting, because of post-recession and, you know, grants, the availability of certain grants or whatever, highly competitive. This is one of those things that we're looking at as being that missing link, but it's just, again, finding those two pieces that fit, working together. And so that is one of those avenues that we're taking as we speak. But I don't want to say we're in the infancy, but we kind of, through some efforts that stalled in the past several years, we're kind of in the newer ground with that. So that is, yes, thank you, that is one of the things we're looking at right now. We are now a 501c3. The IRS last month, actually I guess the end of February now, notified us that we're a C3, so we're now in a transitional phase, which is working with not just you all, obviously, but our CPA firm and others, just because this is new territory for not just me, but the board itself, going through the hoops and hurdles and everything. One thing that will allow us to do is go after some of these foundations that are out there to help with some of these grants that right now we just couldn't because of the tax bracket. One thing, you know, being different, we just weren't able to go after that funding, and so now we can. So hopefully in the coming months, one thing that we are looking at, I've had discussions with a utility, is that industry cluster analysis that I had talked about probably some 2 years ago, and had to table it just simply because we didn't have the funds available. But that is something that now we can probably go after. And so what I'm doing right now is getting proposals resubmitted because so much time has gone by, and needs have changed and trends have changed. We're trying to kind of better tailor it to what our current needs are. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers it. Sorry for talking a little bit longer.
Anybody have any questions?
David, I want to compliment you on the small article that was in the Trend magazine.
Oh, the yearbook?
Yeah, you've done very well with it. Both Levy County and talking about the good things we have going on, those things that we're trying to get accomplished here in the county. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And it's hard to get everything you want to say in that small little, but it is exposure, and I appreciate that opportunity they give us every year. So.
I'm gonna commend you, I didn't think you could say that many words in that little bit.
and you know, there's always that, have I overlooked something, but, you know,
It was really good.
appreciate it. Thank you.
He doesn't type as fast as he talks.
No, not even close.
Let me ask you, I had a question answered the other day, and I don't know if you can answer it or not. You're the man up there on
I'll
the
try.
phone. Do we have a starting date on Seventh Trail?
I've heard, not heard, I've seen several dates, and it's kind of changed. Of course, they're going through the typical legal channels and whatnot, but there were some environmental, you know, the typical environmental issues that whenever something like this happens. So I haven't seen a definitive date yet, but I know it's, I mean, you've got the gas plant down in Citrus and all these other things kind of coming online, and that will be one of the main providers. I believe there's 3 lines right now, so that would be the 4th. But I haven't. But I can definitely check. I've actually tried recently to reach back out to them just to see where we are, and I've had difficulty. But
I just was asked that question. I didn't have a starting date for them.
Yeah.
I won't put it.
I know it was kind of pushed back because they're going through the legal side of it. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, but I will definitely try to find out for you.
Any other questions for David? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
David. Ms. Merritt and Ms. Weiss.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What we're here today to ask for is some possible help that we might need from Fisher Whitehurst on feasibility grant. Inglis's grant writer is currently working, but there may be some additional information that we may need from the county, and we would like permission to ask Ms. Whitehurst when and if we need that help.
There's actually two studies. One's a economic impact analysis that we are looking at, and again, we may need to pick a range.
And the other is a sub-regional wastewater and stormwater feasibility study.
So she would just serve as in a consulting capacity.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve, because I think he does a wonderful job anyway, if she can help y'all.
what anybody wanna ask her? You agree to do this?
Yes.
We asked her.
Okay. We have a motion, do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Joyner, second by Commissioner Rooks. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Rupert.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ruth Rupert from the English Recreation Committee. The reason I'm here today is to ask for permission or traffic support for a Memorial Day parade for English. This is the first time we've done a Memorial Day parade. And also it's a shorter route than what our normal parades are. So there's no excuse why you all can't walk in this one.
I wore out shoes walking that parade.
At any rate, it's probably 3/4 of a mile tops. There's another reason why this is a shorter route is because it seems to be a big gap of support from the town. And so this way it'll be a full packed crowd all the way through. And it's a lot less work for the support folks, the fire departments and all that sort of thing, to close off all the roads where there's only one road, actually two roads that they'll need to close off. A very small part of Hammock Road and Allen Avenue that empties onto Highway 40. I have not spoke with the sheriff about this, but I did talk to John McDonald, the fire department chief for English, and he seemed to be no problem with that. So.
So Ms. Rupert, what you need from us is just the barricades
Well, basically it's,
and permission to close the road.
yes, permission to close the road. The town of Inglis has the barricades necessary. And they usually, now this is on a Monday, the actual day of Memorial Day. And so, it might be a little bit of a issue with them putting the barricades out on Friday, because at different times people have stolen the barricades, but because there's only gonna be a few, there should be a big deal about getting the barricades on the day of it. Maybe I put them in the back of my truck or something like that, or put them up to the fire department, or whatever. So anyway, that should not be a problem with the barricades and that sort of thing. But mainly it's for the traffic support. And on my way out the door, I will give copies to the sheriff. I'll catch him outside then.
You got scared and left.
That must have been it.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Pleasure of the board is I'm not gonna walk, my feet got corns on me, it hurt. I don't need to walk, I will be there though.
That's a big thing.
That's not exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve, so I can take a walk.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And I'm gonna give you all a flyer just because you can stick it in front of Mr. Joyner's desk.
Thank you very much. You will see they are advertising the new shorter route. Bold print. All right, Human Resources, Ms. Jacqueline.
Wow.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you're aware, that the county approved a few months ago a works time service agreement for reporting requirements of the Affordable Care Act. And the works time service agreement fulfills reporting requirements of the Affordable Care Act to include IRS reporting and a measurement period. The elected officials covered by the board's contract with Public Risk Management for group health insurance were initially covered in this contract. The amendment, this proposed amendment releases the property appraiser's office, the tax collector's office, the clerk's office, and the elections office from the agreement. These offices have decided to assume the Affordable Care Act reporting responsibilities themselves. So I'm asking for the board to consider amending the contract. So the contract would just be between the board and Works Time, not the elected officials.
I'll make a motion to approve Ms. Jackman's request to amend the contract.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Gerald.
Good morning. We got a couple things this morning. First one, request approval of resolution 2016-021, authorizing chair to sign application for consolidated small county solid waste management grant, and approving the director of solid waste as authorized representatives under the grant.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2016-21.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stevens, second by Commissioner Joyner. Is there any further questions? Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
This year, we're gonna get the grant all at one time, like the 1st of September. Somehow or another, it got split up. We got half of it then, and we just received the other half a month ago. So, we have to send in a work plan every year of what we're gonna do with the money. And I was gonna tell you our plans. We've already done the first part of it with the transfer trailer we bought, that we were going to buy a couple months ago. The second half, back a while back, some other departments needed some more, or a mower, so we donated one of our mowers to, Mount Prison. So I want to, or we need to buy 2 new mowers to mow the landfill with. And I'd like to buy 2 pro-turn mowers with that, the money this year, and the rest of the extra money left over go into fuel costs to help save our budget for fuel.
You buying those mowers off the state bid?
State contract, yeah, I have a state contract number. The state contract number is 760-00-10-1.
What kind are you?
They're, Gravies. We've got, the 2 we had out there probably 12 to 14 years old. And other than changing oil in them and buying blades for them, and I think we put 1 valve cover on, or gasket on one of them, they have been top-notch mowers. And that's on state contract, that's what I give that with that kind of mower.
Now, are you asking permission to buy them now, or just?
Well, I'd like to go ahead and buy them because the grass is starting to grow.
What's the price of it?
Oh, I'm sorry. The price for 2 is, $22,078.40.
The diesel motors?
They're gas, they call 472, they got 35 horsepower Kawasaki motors on them. They're 6 foot cut. If y'all been to the landfill, y'all said we got a lot of grass with that.
22,000 what?
$78.40.
So you need a motion to go ahead and buy them?
I'd like to, but like I said, the grass is growing.
We approved the work, we approved the.
non-intended items.
Make a motion to hear non.
Second.
Wait a minute, guys, slow down. Golly, you're all in a hurry today, ain't you?
You said you had to be gone.
Authorized. So by approving the grant and making it authorized, it doesn't cover him buying the mowers?
I would think it would, but
Well, I don't
This
have,
is part of the work plan.
and there's nothing in the application that says you can't spend the money before they award it. There might be a limitation, that if you spend it ahead of time, they won't reimburse you.
we've got the money according to the,
But if you're looking at the grant money to reimburse you, they may not, if you spend it now. I don't know, you'll have to check with the state, because this is just the application.
on the first half of, we've done spent on the trailers, they've assured us then that everything being,
And if you've got their okay, because some don't let you do that. Just depends on the state.
it should be fine.
The invoice is not part of the packet that is from whatever dealer has got the state bid.
I didn't do that.
Individualized, so you have it with the warranty conditions and all that.
Can you?
The one we have now,
We have a motion here on agenda item, I'm willing to. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now, what's your non-agenda item?
Mr. Chairman, if Mr. Darrell's checks to see that by purchasing these regular mowers ahead of time, and if we cannot interfere with this grant application, I would make a motion to allow him to purchase these mowers now and have the grant reimburse us back.
Motion, do I hear a second?
I hear a second, because I think Mr. Drill and I was taking, or had talked to Steve, and they pretty much said that they're gonna reimburse us back. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you have a comment on that. And at 11,000. Yeah, fees, some fees, they'll ask you, you're talking about $1,000 a year if you've got late mode. I'll think with that.
We have a motion and a second to allow Mr. Darrell to purchase the mowers. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
thank you.
All right, back to you for the original motion. We got to approve resolution 2016-21. Tourist development.
So you're gonna,
11:30. Y'all think y'all trying to eat breakfast?
Good morning.
On February 10th and February 18th this year, I placed newspaper advertisements that ran for those 2 weeks, seeking applications for the vacant seats for the Tourist Development Council. The ads ran in all newspapers, the Levy County Journal, the Williston Pioneer, the Cedar Key Beacon, the Cleveland Citizen, and the Newscaster. I received 3 applications. On March 3rd, 2016, the Levy County Tourist Development Council met at their regular meeting and voted to make the following recommendations. And we need to table Tracy Ann Allen until the county attorney can look into that to see if she can be appointed due to some possible conflict there. So, but if you'll look at the second page, it's a little easier to read rather than the agenda packet. And Kathy Carver from Mermaid's Landing for an accommodation seat. The 2 tourism industry seats would be Gerald Kirby from Kirby Family Farm in Williston. And then, of course, we're We have two others, pardon? We have two other seats that, we don't really take applications for because they're government seats and they're really based on, by statute, we have one seat open for the largest city, which is Williston, and that base is based on the city of Williston, whoever they want to appoint, and then we bring that to you, and that would be Danny Etheridge from the Williston City Council. And then by statute, it calls for the Board of County Commissioners chair to be that person on the Tourist Development Council or his or her designee. So I'm assuming that John Express wants to continue to be on the Tourist Development Council, and if so, then you need to reappoint him because that term has expired. Will expire on the 16th of April. So that's your slate that the Tourist Development Council has brought before you. So that would be to appoint Chairman John Meeks, Danny Etheridge from the city of Williston, Kathy Carver, Gerald Kirby. Those two. And I'm still working on one more accommodation seat. There's still a vacancy there that I did not receive an application for. And I've contacted 3 other accommodations in this time period, and they have all not wanted to be on it. But we have the only 2 franchises we have are in Chiefland. And I've contacted Mrs. Patel and asked her to appoint her manager, which she was interested at one time, but she's now no longer interested in doing that. And also Stanley Bear, who has served before, who's from the Island Hotel in Cedar Key, and she's not interested at this time. I do have another person who was interested at some time. I'm in the process of getting an answer back from her, and that's Heidi Schubert from Two Hawks Hammock in Williston. And so you may want to go ahead and appoint her pending her acceptance. That would be great. I'd save us a little time. But she's had an interest in the past, and I would assume if I could ever get a response back from her this week, that she probably would take that to fill that other empty seat for accommodation.
Mr. Lipman, is Mr. Etheridge on y'all's agenda to be reappointed back to the Tourist Development Board tonight?
Not aware that he is, but we can put him on the next agenda. We're meeting tonight, he's not on the agenda for tonight, so it will be 2 weeks from now.
So what's 2 weeks from now? That's the 19th. And the terms say they expire by the 15th, so and you meet quarterly?
We don't meet till May.
Till May, so that was the time frame, right? Correct, for the city of Wilson to appoint whoever they want to. I don't know whether Danny would serve again or not.
I was under
He has expressed interest
the
in serving.
impression he had already, in January that happened, but maybe this is my fault. That's the impression he was still serving.
Mr. Grant?
Mr. Chairman, I'll ask the same question I asked David a minute ago. Have these appointments been advertised?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I stated that in the beginning,
They were advertised in
for 2 weeks. That was the very first thing that I read.
Cedar Key, Beacon, the Chief Assistant, and Newscast.
February 10th and February 18th, for 2 weeks, and received 3 applications.
You see the application for people that were already serving?
Some of them were, yes.
More or less.
Who are the people that are serving, Ms. McCrean?
Pardon me?
Who are the people that are serving now?
Teresa Barron from the city of Chiefland, Helen Cialella from Bees Marina and Campground, Captain Rick LaFiles from Osprey Guides. Those are the other 3.
Daryl Kirby is currently a member and is reapplying, as well
And
as
Kathy
Kathy
Carter, right, and Danny Etheridge, and you.
I just didn't see it. Yes, I did see it.
With the addition of Heidi Schubert,
If she accepts.
which he accepts.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rooks, second by Commissioner Stevens. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And you also have a list of all the events. We're just starting the highlight of all of our events for Levy County. There's a lot going on, especially in the month of April. We start out with, of course, Bronson's having their Wild Hog Human Kayak Race. It's going to be starting April 23rd. Chiefland has an FFA alumni rodeo. You've got farmers markets and Cedar Key and Amos. You've got Williston has a Cedar Lakes Woods and Garden. That's the first one that they're having. This is the first spring festival they've ever had.
No, it's not.
It's the second.
No, it's not.
Sorry, me?
It's the second and.
It's the second one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They had one
Okay.
last year.
Okay. And it's April 30th through May 1st. And then you've got some other things. There's a list of this. And you can always go to our website. We have all the calendar events. And if you know of any events, please let us know so that we can get them on the calendar events. It takes a few weeks to get our webmaster to put them up, so please let us know in advance. It'd be great.
The Wilson FFA fundraiser is the 23rd.
Okay.
Remember, police shoot.
Just tell me.
We also get a list of the members of the Tourism Development Council on the website. It's the only one in the county.
It's on there.
Oh, really? Under what?
Under, I think, further information. Yeah, we had that put on about a year and a half ago.
I looked at it the other night,
It's
again,
on there.
looking, and didn't find anything.
It's on there.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Public safety.
Good morning.
Public safety has two agendas this morning. The first is our quarterly report for the quarter ending December 31st, 2015. During that quarter, the Firefighter 1 program was completed. Graduation for the 10 new Firefighter 1s was held at the Public Safety Complex on December 4th. Out-of-class Captain Paramedic Jim Horn was named Employee of the Year at the annual staff dinner at Black Pond in December, as voted by our peers. This quarter is always typically one of our busiest PR time frames. We're at several events throughout the county for the quarter, including teaching students in local schools hands-only CPR. The receivables continue to maintain with net collections between 60 and 70% each month.
A dramatic improvement.
From what it was before, yes. We responded to 1,862 calls for service for EMS this quarter. 1,255 of those calls resulted in patient transports to the hospital. We celebrated the opening of our 6th EMS station in Fanning Springs. And of course, January 23rd, which is this quarter that just ended, we opened Station 11 for EMS and put on a 7th unit as well. For EMS response, the Chiefland, Bronson, and Williston areas continue to be our busiest areas. We were at status 0 27 times this quarter. We expect to see a decrease in that with placing our 7th unit in service in the Morriston area. EMS response times were at 10.72 minutes for an average for the whole department for transport units. Sorry, I have fire call spots here somewhere, I'm sorry. The department responded to 205 calls for service for fire response. Our average fire response was 9.94 minutes this quarter. And our vehicle repairs for the EMS units has remained pretty steady with total repairs at 53 for this quarter. We have the further report. Our second item is for the write-offs for the quarter ending December 31st, 2015. For resolution 2012-27, we're requesting approval for them. For this quarter, you'll notice that they're quite a bit lower than typical at just $15,217.02. This is because at the end of October, we implemented a new procedure for checks and balances where the EMS billing company is actually sending the write-offs to our office for further review before they're sent to collections and write-off.
Down dramatically.
Yes.
16,000 to 15.
Yes, because of the review, we didn't have any write-offs for November and December.
Actually, maybe.
Yes, because we had some payments come in for those that were already in collection.
That's correct. What's the
Very
pleasure of the board?
Second.
A motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Stevens, second by Commissioner Rock Meeks. Is there any further discussion? All,
Let's have a quick question. What is status of zero?
remember there may be some. All the units are out of the county. They're all transported.
How long do they have to be out of the county before it
1
triggers?
second.
Okay, that's what I did. Okay.
Just whenever it flashes.
I was just curious, did you have to rent space for that, awards banquet over at Black Throne, or did they not come to?
We did not pay to rent space over it. They graciously allowed us to use the facility for our event.
Yes.
Very the collection rate, you said was 60 to 70%. Does that include adjustments for the Medicaid? What was that total?
That's the net collections.
If I'm not mistaken, that does include the Medicaid, Medicare.
After it's adjusted?
But because the private pay is usually always around zero. Ms. Tony?
Since we've got the sheriff here, maybe I could ask for an update on how your dispatch department's doing.
Sheriff?
Or I know it's doing great.
Okay, well, I need to talk to you after then. Got another problem.
Sir, what's your name for the record? I'm sorry.
James Campbell.
James Campbell. All right. All in favor of approving the? No. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. 4-1, with Ms. Brooks abstaining. Thank you. All right, now the big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Before we get started though, I received a message from Mr. Greenley this morning that they are going to go with McTower, so we can strike that, table that from our agenda item.
Which one was that?
That is.
So we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. So, not just table, it's removed.
It's removed. So,
First, I want to, Mr. Chairman, you look nice in orange and blue, just want to I want to give an update for this that weren't made aware. We got a year's extension for our Shell Mound Road grant for 26 from, a lot of you know that we were on a time schedule to fix and lease the grant, so we have a year's extension to June 30th, 2017. So that was a major deal for us.
I want to thank you for your work on that.
can you give us a very brief update on why we're being delayed? So, does that, I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure everybody else is like me, they've been inundated with, right? With
And
requests.
that's also one of our last things on the agenda to do with that. A lot of permit issues, a lot of, water management, Army Corps, wetland issues having to work out with the state. And we don't even have the drawings done yet from our engineer, because we can't get them done to get the permitting issues done. And as we'll get to that today, that's on my list.
I just want that on the record for you, because
I know, we've
whenever
been
you tell
having a
people
lot.
that we're waiting on the Army Corps of Engineers, since when does the Army Corps of Engineers dictate what we can do?
Because
with
it's a
roads?
grant, because it's state money, it's funded money, yes, we have to go through them.
And federal property.
Yes.
we're crossing.
And we are crossing federal property. Yes, it is. And also, we finished paving on Northeast 80th Street, and I drove it yesterday, it was very nice. We have ditch work to do yet, and striping to do, but it looks very nice. I want to let y'all know that's done. And the town of Boston side is done, so it's very nice. Okay, on with the agenda. first, one I have is to approve resolution 2016-12. It's a construction maintenance agreement with FDOT for resurfacing County Road 241 from County Road 335, which is also known as Northeast 75th Street, to the Alachua County line. This is a state project which FDOT will fund and construct the project. We won't have anything to do with it. It's under our, which I will get into again, a lab project.
What's the pleasure of the board? Do we have to do these all at once, or do we do them all in lump sum?
You can do them all together, if you want.
Anybody have a problem with that?
No.
Or I don't think anybody's gonna pull any projects off this list.
So you want me to read all the
Yeah, please do.
resolution
We'll go
numbers?
through them all.
Okay, all right. So we'll get to the next resolution number. It's 2016-16, for the delivery project of Bridge 340010 at County Road 456 on Gulf Boulevard at Daughtry Bayou. It's the same thing. It's a, LAP program. The state will take care of everything for us. The next one is 2016-01, a SCOP grant resurfacing and widening, I'm sorry, this one.
2016-17.
No, I'm sorry, hang on, I'm sorry. Okay, 2016-17, 340011 at 456 Gulf Boulevard at Lewis Pass. It's another LAC program. 2016-18 for Bridge 340014 at C Street and Cedar Key. Resolution 2016-19 for Bridge 340050 at County Road 339 at the Wakassasa River.
I have a question. On the one for C Street,
Yes, ma'am.
we have not seen a final project
No,
at
ma'am, we have
DOT.
not. No, not yet, but we will. Because it's coming, but we had to have a resolution to get the contract. It's in the works.
This is part of their new lab certification. I will elaborate on that a little bit more during the commissioner report. Mr. Pettit, your planning council.
2016-20, once again, this is for 241 from 335 to Alachua County line. And those are all those for the lab project.
Which one are you on, 16-20?
Just finished with.
Yes, those are all our lab projects, those are all the state. The state's gonna fund them and construct them for us.
So, we're gonna carry on with H, and we'll just do them all. in one
Okay,
lump.
all right, we can do that. Resolution 2016-01, this is a stop grant agreement for 343. We want to widen and resurface 343 from Northeast 60th Street to County Road 241. The grant is for $1,236,000. My next one is 2016-02, it's another stop grant for widen and resurface County Road 40A. It'll be from County Road 40 to 19 for $1,140,300. And then Town Bronson was removed. Okay, and 2016-15 is a scrap grant, Northwest 110th Avenue, Clay Landon Road. We want to resurface this road from State Road 320 to the end of the road for $312,185. And our last resolution,
Let's,
actually, this one's different. I
Yeah,
think
let's
you
wait
might-
on that one.
yeah,
let's just do, let's
Yeah, we
do
gotta do
K.
these, yeah.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to
You already had a motion and a second
Okay.
for item A, so if you want to just amend that
Okay.
motion and second to include items A through H and item K.
Stephen made the motion.
I make a motion to.
No, you amend your motion.
I amend my motion to reflect what the county attorney has said.
Well played. I don't remember who had the second.
Second.
You second, your second agrees with the amendment? All in favor, please signify, is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, item L.
Okay, now this is the resolution that I was talking about for Shelldown Road. It's 2016-22. It's an agreement with the Board of Trustees for the Internal Improvement Trust Fund for the state of Florida for, sovereign submerged land easement at Dennis Creek. Now, we have to have this land easement to cross Dennis Creek. This is part of our grant. If we don't have this, we can't cross Dennis Creek, we can't pave the road.
We have a motion to approve by Ms. Rooks and a second by Commissioner Stevens. Is there any further discussion?
How much does the grant do this work?
The grant for this, the balance I have left on the grant is, I have it wrote down. I don't remember the starting amount of the grant, but my balance is $962,472.45. That's my balance that's
So
left.
what work has been done so far?
All of our
Paperwork?
The permitting, yes, just the permitting.
Well, so is there a construction grant to follow, or
That's the total amount I have left.
that's it, that's when you do the construction?
That's
It's the plan.
But I mean, we have a lot of it that is done now. Now, once the construction starts, it'll be really fast.
There's a lot of widening and a lot of wetlands involved with this road. And we first thought we was gonna actually have to use some of our impact fee funds, and may still have to
We may
before all
have
is
to.
said and done.
We may have to.
Who's the contractor?
We don't know yet. That'll be bidded out through Lee Mills. He's our engineer. He'll bid all that out. When we can, when we're at that point of the grant.
Just a lot of environmental sensitive issues out there.
And cultural issues, I mean, that's the other thing.
Yes, we're getting a lot of complaints.
People just don't understand, well, why can't you just pave it up to that bridge? It don't work that way. They don't understand that.
What's the pleasure of the board? No, we haven't done the last one?
The last one.
Not on the last one.
Not on the last one, all stands.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2016-022. As presented.
No, Miss Lily made the motion and Danny seconded it.
Well, that's what I said, y'all will listen. All in favor?
You're all my motion.
Yeah.
I thought we did all of these.
Mixes was going up there. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? She's got, man, it slowed me down for sure. No, I've never had this big of an agenda as the road department.
I think they're bored or something.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Is there going to be, at the Dennis Creek, will there be some widening for the kayakers to park, to put their? And second question, any chance that you can get the feds to cough up some money to pave the remainder of the Shell Mound Road down to the boat
I
ramp?
don't know, yeah, I don't know about all that. I would have to check with our engineer about the widening, but as far as getting someone else to cough up money, I don't know.
It sure would be nice, because there's really, you get two people down there and two vehicles, that's it.
Right, yeah, I don't know, I haven't seen the plans, I don't know what the plans are, because they haven't drawn them up yet. Like I said, we're still in the permitting process, so I can check with them and find out what their plans are.
Can you approach the Lower Swanee and ask them about the paving on down? I mean, they did that wonderful paving job into their office.
Yeah. I'm sure we can ask. All we can do is ask.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Sheriff,
are you, Mr. Chair?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't have any business for the commission, but I would like to take this opportunity to caution our citizens on the burglaries that we're having. I know our media press partners are helping us get that word out, but we are having a string of daytime burglaries off the major highways in the county, State Route 121, US alternate 27, maybe one off 41 as well, and one down in Yankeetown. So Citrus County Friday had a homicide connected to a burglary that is extremely similar to facts and information and evidence we have in the Levy County burglaries. So just want you to be aware, be cautious. This is affecting Citrus, Marion, Levy, and Alachua. A little less in Alachua, a lot in Marion, and a lot in Levy and Citrus. So just ask our citizens to be cautious, to call us at 911 immediately if you see anything strange or suspicious in your areas. Don't be afraid to call. Doesn't matter how ridiculous it might seem to you, but let us have an opportunity to check it out. If you have an opportunity and can get descriptions of vehicles, tag numbers, persons, clothing, those kind of things, that's always extremely helpful. But we're obviously have been proactive, all of the counties in the string of burglaries, but we need your help and need you to be cautious. Please don't be confrontational. They're not, up until this homicide, there have been unoccupied structures during the daytime when folks are at work or school. But they seem to be picking up the pace a little bit as far as the violence of those burglaries if they confront anyone. So get out, call 911, and let us come have an opportunity to check out anything that may be suspicious to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. Sheriff, Ms. White, you have anything?
Well, I want to thank Mr. Wilberdine for some assistance he's giving us. We recently had our dump trailer stolen, and we were trying to repair some potholes out at the WGP, and he's graciously approached the roads department to help us with it.
Very good. Whit?
I was wondering if anything's been decided on these raises that were given to the DPS employees that unauthorized, right?
No, sir, nothing as of yet. I don't know, is that something we'll talk about at the shade meeting? Is this what we're discussing at the shade meeting? On the 19th?
We just received an amendment yesterday from the union. So we hadn't had anything from the union until yesterday, Kerry. And the board hadn't even got it. I just forwarded it to them this morning because I got it yesterday afternoon. They're amending their agreements on that. You can get that at the office if you just come back there and ask.
Okay. Mr. Lippman, anything from City of Williston?
Where lights are on, doors are open. Life is good in Williston.
I understand that this morning I heard Mr. Heathcote's brother passed away.
I had not heard that.
Okay. Are we still on for the day with?
Again, as far as I know, the last word I heard was that it was happening. Now, I haven't gotten an update.
I got a transit bus gonna meet us at 1 o'clock, so I hope that if something changes, somebody will let me know.
Somebody will.
Okay.
How's the fair, Mr. Scott? They're pretty successful.
I don't know. The weather kind of didn't cooperate, but they seem to get a lot of the activities in. I haven't heard a final tally on how they did, but by all indications, it was busy when it was open.
All right, Mr. Witt.
Going back to the raises, has that become part of the union negotiations now, the legal raises that were given by Mr. Mills? Because you're discussing it in the shade meeting, that's why I was asking.
Well, it possibly may be talking about in the shade meeting. I haven't seen anything from them as of yet, so I don't know what their offer is. Freddie said we got an email this morning, I haven't seen it, so.
that has become part of the union negotiations now, because that's, you're gonna discuss the shade meeting, that's the purpose of the shade.
Well, I don't think we're gonna discuss that openly in public there.
That's the
So
purpose of the
I
shade
think we
meeting.
need to keep that to ourselves now. We're not gonna talk about union negotiations in a public meeting, Terry.
Well, I don't think that really falls into union negotiations. It was a legal raise, and that's a board decision whether you're gonna.
We haven't seen it, so we can't make a decision. As soon as we're all informed, as soon as we all receive the email of what the union has proposed, then we will be able to make a decision, but without seeing it, I don't even know what their offer is.
Okay, well, I thought they'd made an offer. In fact, they
Freddie
didn't.
said that they sent it to him yesterday afternoon, and he sent out to us this morning, so I haven't seen it.
There's union negotiations and there's a grievance, and both of those can be discussed in a shade meeting when it gets to the monetary and the other aspects of it.
Ms. Tony?
A history note for all of you. You may have seen it in the newspapers and on Channel 10. The Isaac Hardy House, which is the oldest house in Levy County, which was on Billy Ray Sharp's property, has now been moved to a piece of private property on the Manatee Springs Road, State Road 320, just to the west of the church that's there. The folks that acquired the property have moved up here from Christmas, Florida. They had wonderful things to say about Levy County on the news. I was very pleased. They found the people in this county to be friendly, to be helpful, and they're very happy to relocate here. So as you drive by, I hope you'll keep an eye on it, because they are going to totally refurbish the house. It is not going to be open to the public. It is not going to be a museum. That's the sad part about it. But when I worked on the project, I couldn't get the family to agree. For those of you who don't know, Isaac Hardy was the first clerk of Levy County in 1845. And there are quite a few Hardy descendants that are still in the county today. So this is a very good thing for Levy County history.
Are they gonna restore it to make it modernize the little,
No.
or are they gonna restore it back to the way
No,
it was?
it's going back to 1845. And trust me, they have a lot of work to do. Over the years, the property was, the structure was lived in by a number of families. And of course, as we all do, we make accommodations to suit us. And that may not necessarily have been the way it was back in the old days. The house was originally located on the grounds of the Manatee Springs State Park. And it was moved at some point. We've never been able to nail down exactly when, but it was moved from it. But way before there were telephone and lines that you had to worry about. But it was moved from Manatee Springs out to Billy Ray Sharp's property at Hardytown. It wasn't his property then, it was Isaac Hardy's. Right next door to the Hardytown Methodist Church Cemetery. I believe that's 10th Avenue. Okay?
Yeah, he said he was gonna take all the plumbing out, all the electrical wires, everything out.
That's gone. They moved Hunt out across the city, did the moving, Hunt House moving, and all of the air conditioning, the wiring, everything that was put in over the years, that's gone. It's all gone.
Anybody else for public comment? All right, moving on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Gordon?
Just hope somebody on one of the other commissioners, I don't have the dates, so what dates we got going on in April. That's all I just need to know that. Going back to what the sheriff said, I think his deputies, is all I noticed in the county, you see more green and white vehicles in the areas of the county now than you ever have, in my opinion anyway. And I've been in this business 38 years. I think they're doing a great job. And more burgers in Citrus County than that end of the county. I just like the way the sheriff stated it. Kinda like Loretta Lynn said, stand by your man. Or Bobby said, stand your ground. That's what we need to do. I think he's done a good job with the sheriff, and, they are hitting out in the county pretty hard.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Cow market's way down. If y'all want anybody wanting the cows to feed for the summer, come to my house. You ain't got to buy no lawnmower. I got something to lend out.
I think we tried that with some hound dogs.
I did.
Last year.
It didn't work.
They don't eat grass.
No.
Mr. Rook?
Last couple of weeks, I've been meeting with DOT, with the Garden of Bridges and Cedar Key, and the mayor. Mr. Dean's been with me.
Allison, thank you.
Yes. And it's been going good.
Mr. Stevens?
I guess I'll report on Logan. The 20-hour fair went off very well. Kids did very good.
You haven't received your bill yet, have you?
No, I have not. Been anxiously awaiting its arrival. But for those of you that you doesn't know about the fair, it was very, very, very busy week. And the kids were just, they did great. I think the kids did a phenomenal job showing. You didn't get to make it out, maybe next year you can. Wild Hog New Race is coming up on the 23rd.
23rd?
23rd.
Yes.
Isn't that the same day that we have the skeet shoot? Whitehurst?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, not real sure, but I encourage you, if you can make it there, it's gonna be very good. And that's, anybody wants to come out and watch kids play baseball, see AAA, Saturday morning, they start about 9 o'clock. And it'll last till dark. If you wanna come get some baseball games in, and softball, come on up. Beat you cheap.
Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
I went to the North Central Florida Planning Council meeting, last Thursday, and it just was a coincidence that Mr. Petitholm, who is the person who oversees the lap certification for DOT in Tallahassee, was the guest speaker. And one of the issues I brought to his attention was, my understanding whenever we first went to this lap certification was that once you were lap certified as a county, that covered you. But they only grant that designation to certain counties. And I went in depth to explain to them that small counties, we struggle, we have small staffs. We have a county attorney who has a lot of agreements she has to review. And then I wish they would revisit that procedure because, today we had all these agenda items except for one and that revolved around the lab certification program. And it's another level of bureaucracy coming down from Tallahassee that makes our jobs and our lives more difficult. I understand what their purpose is, what they're trying to do, but I encourage them to revisit it. And once the county becomes lap certified, that ought to extend for a period of time rather than each particular project. Ms. Cannon.
Mr. Chairman, what does LAP stand for?
What does LAP stand for?
Local agency programs.
What it is it's a review of our policies and standards on how we hire folks, who we do business with, so that we are not being prejudiced or against anybody who, for their race or religious beliefs or anything like that. It's a federal standard that we have to abide by. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it just creates more busy work for the staff. he agreed, and he did say he would, look into it. You know how that is. They'll ask the politicians, they don't, it's not their promises. Hopefully they will revisit it. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to report. Like Rock said about Chief on Bronson, is playing baseball and softball games scattered throughout the region now. Some in Bronson, some in Gainesville, some in High Springs. If you stop by Town Hall, you can get a schedule and find out where they'll be. Yes, ma'am, Miss Tony.
Old Florida Celebration of the Arts is Saturday and Sunday in Cedar Key.
Yes, ma'am.
10 to 4.
The art festival. Yes. And also on my list, I have a Nature Coast kayak fishing tournament on April 9th. So, Bronson had its first ever farmers market, not first ever, but first farmers market in the new form. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate. We had a decent turnout. I was glad that the town of Bronson and Katie, who's here, and you can recognize her, for doing that and bringing that back. Katie, do you have anything to report from the town of Bronson?
Well, right now, we have a farmer's market. The next one will be May 7th. Hopefully we'll get a few more vendors out. Only half of them came because of the weather. And then also on May 7th is our Bronson Blueberry Festival pageant. And the following weekend, which is May 13th and 14th. The 13th will be our Bronson Blueberry Festival parade. And then on the 14th will actually be the Rock in the parade. So I encourage you to love to see everyone out there.
Your run is a 5K run?
Yes, sir.
And what day did you say that was?
That is going to be on the 14th. Registrations and tours and parade boards and everything is at the town hall or on the website.
Ran last year.
I'm gonna come, ma'am, but I ain't gonna go in.
Mike's got forms in case you missed it. Forms on street.
I ain't gonna come.
What time's the race start?
It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can ride your lawn, you can take your cows out there and ride a cow through it.
If I beat John.
And beating won't be hard.
It'd be like blazing saddles and ride school through there.
Mr. Chairman, and
thank you.
This just a fault on my part, and I apologize to the citizens and to the board. This is a busy time of the year in California right now. Can you explain to the citizens, answer me, where are we at on changing the districts? Do you know, or have we changed the districts where,
the water manager district?
The what?
Water manager?
No, the water manager district, not that. The voting district, like where it's head go. He's not gonna be our representative anymore.
No.
It's not nobody's fault but mine not keeping up with it.
They done that, I think it was finalized in January or February was when the new maps came out.
There wasn't an appeal?
They weren't finalized. That's whenever they were proposed. They just got finalized, and I think there's even a challenge now. So Bill don't really know, but Miss Diane's got her hand up. She
Yeah, Corinne Brown is back in court. She wants it reverted back to the original plans because she doesn't like the latest one.
But yes.
However, the people are campaigning for the new district, and they've been down here to Levy County with a number of delegates. Third Monday night at the gathering table for Republicans.
I know we ended up being the odd county out again. So it was good county in, now we're odd out again. Everybody's trying to make it odd county out.
Well, it's not only the congressional districts change, but the state Senate districts change for us too, a little bit. But we'll pick up Senator Bradley, and that'll be good for Levy County. So, anybody else?
Thank you.
All right. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills? Second. Have a motion to pay the bills as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Approval of the minutes from March 8th, 2016. Any changes, amendments, deletions?
I didn't see anything wrong with it myself, Mr. Chairman.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Joyner, second by Commissioner Stevens. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Does anybody have any more business should come before this board at this time? Seeing none, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.